below you, a city that is slowly, measurably, mathematically disappearing. Not dramatically, not in a single catastrophic moment, but centimeter by centimeter, year by year, Bangkok is sinking into the mud it was built on. The ground beneath this city is subsiding at a rate of up to 3 centimeters per year in some neighborhoods. By the end of this century, significant portions of what you are looking at right now will be underwater. And yet, 14 million people live here, and more are arriving every day. Welcome to Seat 32A. We're landing in Bangkok, and the story of this city is the story of a place that has always been in the process of disappearing, and has always, somehow, survived. Look down at that water first. From this altitude, Bangkok doesn't look like a city built on land. It looks like a city built on water. The Chao Phraya River, that wide brown river you can see cutting through the center of the city, is not just a waterway. It is the reason Bangkok exists. It is the reason Thailand exists in the form it does. Everything here begins with that river. The Chao Phraya flows from the mountains of northern Thailand southward through the central plains and into the Gulf of Thailand just south of the city. It carries sediment, rich, dark, extraordinarily fertile sediment, down from the highlands and deposits it on the coastal plain. The plain that Bangkok sits on is, geologically speaking, a very recent creation. The land here is new, soft, compressible. And when you build 14 million people on top of new, soft, compressible land, and when you pump the groundwater out from under it to supply those 14 million people with drinking water, the land compresses further. Bangkok is sinking partly because of geology and partly because of its own thirst. But look beyond the river. Look at what surrounds this city on 3 sides. Rice paddies, canals, more water. The central plains of Thailand are one of the most productive rice-growing regions on Earth, and they are productive precisely because they flood. Every year, the monsoon rains fill the rivers overflow their banks, the plains flood, and when the waters recede, they leave behind exactly the kind of mineral-rich sediment that makes rice grow. Thailand has been one of the world's largest rice exporters for centuries. The kingdom was built on rice, the way England was built on wool, or Saudi Arabia was built on oil. And to the south, look at the south, the Gulf of Thailand. That warm, shallow, extraordinarily biodiverse body of water that connects Thailand to the rest of Southeast Asia, that has been the highway for trade and for war and for the movement of cultures for 3,000 years. Bangkok sits at the exact point where the river meets the sea. Every civilization that has ever controlled this region has understood the same thing. Whoever controls this junction controls the trade of mainland Southeast Asia. Now let's go back to the beginning. Because Bangkok's beginning is not where most people think it is. The original capital of what we now call Thailand was not Bangkok. It was Ayutthaya, that city you can see the ruins of if you travel an hour and a half north of here. A city that was, at its height in the 17th century, one of the largest and most cosmopolitan cities on Earth. At a time when London had a population of perhaps 600,000, Ayutthaya had 1 million. It had 33 kings, 400 temples, and trading communities from Portugal, the Netherlands, France, China, Japan, India, and Persia, all living in designated districts around the city's edges. The Europeans who came here in the 17th century were not dealing with a primitive civilization. They were dealing with a kingdom sophisticated enough to play them against each other. to negotiate from strength, to selectively adopt Western technology while maintaining its own political independence. The Siamese, as the Thai kingdom was then known, were the only Southeast Asian nation to successfully resist European colonization, not by fighting the Europeans, but by being too useful to colonize, too diplomatically skilled to isolate, too strategically positioned to ignore. Then, in 1767, the Burmese came. Not for the first time. Ayutthaya and Burma had been at war, on and off, for 2 centuries. But this time was different. The Burmese army besieged Ayutthaya for 14 months, destroyed it utterly, burned the temples, melted the gold from the Buddha statues, and took tens of thousands of Siamese into captivity. The destruction of Ayutthaya was so complete that it is still visible today. The ruins, those headless Buddhas, those broken chedis, those fire-blackened brick walls, are the result of a single catastrophic event in 1767 that ended a kingdom that had lasted 417 years. What happened next is one of the most remarkable stories of national resurrection in history. A military commander named Thaksin, the son of a Chinese father and a Thai mother, a man who had escaped the fall of Ayutthaya, rallied the surviving forces, expelled the Burmese, reunited the kingdom, and established a new capital at Thonburi on the western bank of the Chao Phraya River. Within 15 years, the capital moved again, across the river to the eastern bank, to a small trading village called Bangkok. Bangkok means the village of olive plums. It would become Bangkok. The founding of Bangkok in 1782 is not just the founding of a city, it is the founding of a dynasty. King Rama I, the founder of the Chakri dynasty that still rules Thailand today, chose this location deliberately. The river would serve as a western defensive barrier. Canals would be dug to complete the defensive circuit, turning the new city into an artificial island. Temples would be built. Palaces would be built. The entire symbolic apparatus of a great Southeast Asian kingdom would be reconstructed here in conscious imitation of the lost glory of Ayutthaya, in a location chosen for its strategic and commercial advantages. The city Rama I built is the old city you can see from this altitude. The tight cluster of golden spires and temple roofs on the eastern bank of the Chao Phraya. The grand palace complex, visible even from here as a concentration of gleaming rooftops surrounded by white walls. This is the Bangkok that was built to be a capital, the ceremonial, sacred, political heart of a kingdom. And surrounding it, in every direction, were canals. Bangkok was called the Venice of the East. And unlike most places that get called the Venice of the something, this one actually deserved the comparison. The city was built on canals, not just a few canals as decorative features or convenient transportation routes, but hundreds of canals forming a dense network across the entire city and the surrounding plain. People lived on the canals, on floating houses that rose and fell with the water level. They traded on the canals, in floating markets where vendors in boats sold food and goods directly to customers in other boats. They traveled on the canals, in long, narrow vessels that moved through the water with a speed and efficiency that no road could match. Bangkok in the 19th century was a water city in a way that no major city on earth is today. And then the roads came. Look at the road network from this altitude. What you see is the result of a decision made in the late 19th and early 20th centuries to modernize Bangkok, to build roads, to fill in canals, to create the infrastructure of a modern city as defined by Western standards of the time. King Rama V, who ruled Thailand from 1868 to 1910, and who spent much of his reign carefully studying Western countries to understand how to modernize without being colonized, began the transformation. Canals were filled in and replaced with roads. Trams were installed. Western-style government buildings were constructed. The city began to look, in its central districts, recognizably modern by European standards. The consequences of filling in the canals are still being felt today. Bangkok's flooding problem, and Bangkok floods, badly, regularly, catastrophically, is partly a function of the drainage system that the canals provided. When you fill in 200 canals and replace them with asphalt, you remove 200 natural drainage channels. The water that used to flow through the canal system now has nowhere to go. It sits on the streets, in the basements of houses, in the first floors of shops, for days or weeks after a heavy monsoon rain. In 2011, the worst flooding in 50 years inundated a third of the country. Bangkok was threatened. Industrial estates north of the city, containing factories that produced 30% of the world's hard drives, were submerged for months, causing a global shortage of computer components. The damage was $46 billion. The city that was built on water, that understood water for centuries, that lived in relationship with water, tried to conquer water with concrete and asphalt, and the water has been winning ever since. Now, let's talk about faith. Because you cannot understand Bangkok without understanding its relationship to Buddhism. Look at the temple rooftops from this altitude. Bangkok has over 400 temples. Wat, in Thai. Not ancient ruins, not tourist attractions, though they are both of those things too. Active temples, functioning centers of religious and community life, where monks in saffron robes wake before dawn every morning, where merit-making is woven into the fabric of daily life, where the cycle of Buddhist ritual structures time in a way that no calendar can fully capture. Every morning in Bangkok, before the city fully wakes, the monks walk. They emerge from their temples in single file, carrying alms bowls, moving through the streets in silence, while the faithful, housewives, students, old men, young women, kneel on the pavement and offer food. This is called takbat, the alms around. It has been performed every morning in this city, without interruption, for centuries. This is happening right now, in this city. 4 million people living their modern lives around a ritual that predates the city itself. The most sacred temple in Bangkok is Wat Arun, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, located within the Grand Palace complex. The Emerald Buddha is not emerald. It is carved from a single piece of green jade, approximately 26 inches tall, seated in the meditation position, and it has been the palladium of Thai kingship, the object whose presence is believed to protect the kingdom since its discovery in the 15th century. 3 times a year, the King of Thailand performs a ceremony in which he changes the Emerald Buddha's golden costume, one for each season, summer, rainy season, winter, draping the tiny figure in robes of gold and diamond. Only the king may touch the statue. The ceremony is one of the most sacred in the Thai royal calendar. A 26-inch jade figurine, dressed in seasonal costumes by the king, has been protecting Thailand for 600 years. This is also, when you think about it, a very Bangkok kind of story. The sacred and the pragmatic, the ancient and the functional, the belief that it works, regardless of how it looks from the outside. Now let's talk about money and about the gap. Bangkok is one of the most unequal cities in Asia. Thailand as a whole has one of the highest levels of wealth concentration in the world. The top 1% of Thais own approximately 67% of the national wealth. In Bangkok, this inequality is architectural. It is visible from this altitude. Look at the skyline. Those glass towers rising above everything else. That cluster of skyscrapers in the Siloam and Sathorn and Sukhumvit districts represent one Bangkok. The Bangkok of international finance, of luxury condominiums selling for millions of dollars, of rooftop bars where cocktails cost what a factory worker makes in a day. This Bangkok looks like Singapore, like Hong Kong, like any of the glass cities of modern Asia. Now look at what surrounds those towers. The low-rise city. The neighborhoods of wooden houses and corrugated metal roofs and narrow sois. Side streets, where extended families live in 2 rooms and small restaurants operate from what is essentially someone's front porch. The informal economy that underlies the formal one. The street food vendors and the tuk-tuk drivers and the construction workers who built the glass towers and then go home to neighborhoods that look nothing like them. Bangkok has more than enough wealth to house everyone decently. It has chosen not to. This is not unique to Bangkok. It is true of most large cities. But in Bangkok, the gap is particularly visible because the city has grown so fast, from a city of 1 million in 1950 to a city of 14 million today, that the infrastructure of inequality has been built at speed and at scale. The shopping malls of Bangkok are among the largest in the world. Iconsiem, built in 2018 on the banks of the Chao Phraya, is so large that it contains an indoor floating market, a recreation inside an air-conditioned building of the outdoor floating markets that the city's development eliminated. The nostalgia for what modernization destroyed is sold as a luxury experience inside a building that modernization built. Bangkok has a sense of humor about these things, or perhaps it simply has too much to do to spend time on irony. Look south from this altitude. Look toward the Gulf of Thailand. The coastline is visible from here. That curve of land where the Chao Phraya Delta meets the sea. And beyond it, the Gulf, warm and shallow and teeming with life.
The traffic of Bangkok is legendary, not in the romantic way that Paris traffic is legendary, or the way New York traffic is legendary, as a symbol of a city's vitality, its excess, its energy. Bangkok traffic is legendary in the way a natural disaster is legendary. It is something that happens to you, something that reshapes your plans and your relationship with time. The BTS SkyTrain, built in 1999, and the MRT subway, built in 2004, have helped. But the city's density and the inadequacy of its road network mean that on a typical afternoon, the expressways and arterial roads are moving at walking speed for miles in every direction. The tuk-tuks, those 3-wheeled open vehicles that have become the symbol of Bangkok tourism, navigate through the gridlock with a combination of skill and recklessness that takes years to master and looks, to the uninitiated, like continuous near-death experience. The smell of Bangkok traffic, mixed with the smell of street food cooking and the humidity of the tropics and the particular heavy air of a city built on a delta, this is the smell of Bangkok. It is not pleasant. It is not unpleasant. It is the smell of a city that is alive, that is operating at maximum capacity, that has 14 million people living their lives at full volume in a space designed for many fewer. We are close now. Watch the window. As we descend towards Suvarnabhumi Airport, that name means Golden Land in Sanskrit, the airport sitting on what was, within living memory, a swamp, Look for the patterns. Look for the river, always the river, the brown Chao Phraya that started everything. Look for the temple rooftops, gold and white and terracotta, concentrated in the old city but scattered throughout the basin like seeds. Look for the glass towers of the modern business districts, rising above everything else, reflecting the sky back at itself. Look for the low-rise mass of the rest of the city, the neighborhoods where most people live, extending in every direction with a density and an intimacy that no skyscraper district can replicate. Look for the water. It is everywhere here. In the river, in the canals that remain, in the rice paddies at the city's edges, in the Gulf to the south. Bangkok has tried to conquer the water, and the water has declined to be conquered. They have reached a kind of compromise. The water allows the city to exist. The city acknowledges, at least implicitly, that it is the water's guest. Bangkok is not a city that resolved its contradictions. It is a city that learned to live inside them. Ancient and hyper-modern, sacred and profane, sinking and rising. A city that was destroyed and rebuilt, flooded and drained, colonized by tourists and absorbed them into itself. A city where the king changes the Emerald Buddha's clothes 3 times a year, and where you can eat the best meal of your life for $1 on a plastic stool at 2 in the morning. A city where 14 million people are doing exactly what people in cities have always done, building something on ground that may not hold it, in a time that may not last, with a faith that it will be enough. From up here, with the river catching the light and the temple rooftops glinting and the glass towers rising and the Gulf visible on the southern horizon, it looks like it might be. This was Seat 32A, Bangkok, Thailand, Episode 6. The city built on water that is slowly returning to water. The Venice of the East that paved over its canals. The kingdom that was never colonized by outsiders but is being transformed by tourists. The city where monks walk at dawn and the night markets don't close until sunrise, and the ground beneath everything is, centimeter by centimeter, year by year, going down. Next time, we go somewhere completely different. Same seat, different window. Same question. What is this city, really? Subscribe and find a window seat.